Hi, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Trevor. And today we will be catching up on Blu-ray. This is a special segment that I would like to do at least once a month. So, in this segment of catching up on cinema, Kyle and I look at the upcoming Blu-ray releases for the month ahead. We're a little late with this one, so we're going to be starting with the November 1st releases, and I guess going all the way through to the end of the month.
Yeah.
So November, generally Blu-rays and DVDs, media releases happen on Tuesday. This is just kind of a rule when it comes to how retailers do things. So November 1st is apparently not a Tuesday because I just see a whole bunch of concert discs.
Yeah.
I only recognize a couple of bands here. Maybe you recognize more than I do. But the first thing that jumps out at me is Space Bear and the Love Bomb.
Yeah, and then also a Model Combat Ultimate Fan Edition.
Well, see, I just wanted it to be Mortal Kombat, but the cover looks like Blue Velvet, but with ladies. It's very confusing because again, it makes me think of Mortal Kombat, and then it makes me think of Blue Velvet, and I'm just very emotionally confused looking at this cover.
I actually just watched something with Isabella Rossellini.
Always a joy.
Yeah, right.
She did some. She did some series of documentaries about the mating habits of insects.
Fucking weird.
It was like a decade ago, but yeah, it had her dressed up as a spider. No, not as a spider, but as a ladybug, demonstrating the sexual habits of ladybugs or something. I forget what it was and what the context was, but it was just. It was very her, and it was enjoyable to watch.
She is actually one of the voices in The Incredibles 2 that I had to watch last night.
Oh, speaking of which, I think didn't that just come out?
Yeah, I think it was just released. It's probably going to be on here.
It most certainly will. So let's scroll on down here. So November 1st, we have Space Bear and the Love Bomb.
Nothing good until November 4th. The rest of this stuff is, neither here nor there.
Amy Winehouse, Eagles Legacy. It looks, oh shit, that's 6 discs. So that must be the entirety of the Eagles musical catalog. November 4th is an off-release day. Just a lot of special editions. So the most recent Planet of the Apes films, Shape of Water, Steelbook, Isle of Dogs, the Rocky Collection, Super Troopers, blah blah blah.
Super Troopers 1 and 2, Trevor, which was just released, it looks like.
I'm sorry, I'm not up on the Super Troopers lore, the canon, as it were. It holds up?
Yeah, it holds up. I mean, the first one's great, but I was surprised. I didn't expect the second one to actually be funny. I thought it was going to be stupid, but it was actually really good.
Oh, that's the Broken Lizard crew, isn't it?
Yeah, and they employ Rob Lowe, and they get Bill Sasso, Tyler Labine, and some other guy to play Canadians. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
I mean, some of those names you rattled off there, those are some winners. I'd be happy with seeing any one of them.
But then they have Jim Gaffigan doing his same, basically talking about the bit from the first movie, which I didn't need, but it's fun.
So yeah, let's get to the first day of proper releases in the month of November. That would be the 6th, which is a very big day for Blu-ray releases.
So, first things first, don't see The Incredible 2s. It's a waste of time. I didn't want to watch it. So we'll leave it at that.
Well, why did you end up watching it, Kyle?
Because I have a girlfriend who wanted to see it.
Fine.
That's why I had to watch it.
Well, tell me this. I mean, I probably will end up watching it. Well, that's a lie. I probably won't. But what was wrong with it? Because I actually enjoyed the first one.
I just don't care. I don't care about Pixar movies as an adult. I think that Finding Nemo was great. The Toy Story movies are great. Finding Dory was good. It's just I don't care anymore. I'm just past that point in my life where I get excited about these movies. If they come out with the Toy Story 4 and it's most of the same people doing the voices, I'll probably watch it. They won't, but...
I kind of hope they don't. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if they give it a try, but that third one ended about as perfectly as it could have.
The other thing is that Holly Hunter is the voice of the mom.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, and her voice is like nails on a chalkboard for me. It's just it's unbearable. Um, but yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of it. But I got what I wanted in the end. We got to watch Monty Python and the Meaning of Life.
Oh, it was a compromise.
It was a fair compromise, no? Uh, yeah, and she liked it, but Steph had never seen it, so I was like, okay, this is fair. Then you get to watch Incredibles 2. I get to watch Monty Python. So
You make it sound like you weren't paying attention to it. You're just like refusing to watch.
I was watching it. I watched it.
It's like, I was in the room for 2 hours.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's a fun movie. It's just I couldn't care less about it.
Okay. Well, I mean, the superhero fatigue is real now. And you in particular, you aren't really a traditional like superhero film fan, so
No.
so it's like not on paper. It doesn't have much going for it for you
No.
to begin with. So you're just not the target audience.
No, I'm not the target audience at all.
Okay.
That's why I'm not going to bash on it. It's just not for me.
That's fair enough. I mean, I didn't have any expectations. I was kind of happy with how that first one ended
We have
up.
to hurry. We have to hurry through this because I see something I want to talk about. I'm going to call it. If you're looking at the first 3 rows, I'm going to call it the Alice Square from the Brady Bunch, the middle square.
I think I know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
it's something that we generally have a lot to say about.
Yeah. Very excited about that.
But let's not gloss over some of the re-releases here.
Yeah.
Incredibles 2, Superman the movie on 4K.
go.
That's pretty
I'm
fucking
curious.
cool. I wouldn't mind seeing what that looks like. I haven't read the reviews as to what the picture quality's like, but that movie is like a warm blanket for me. I don't know about you.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Maybe I'll make you watch that because
I can catch up on that. That's fine.
it's a classic, man. It just Christopher Reeve is Superman to me and to
If
many
that's-
other people.
If that's a warm blanket movie for you, then I know exactly what's going to pair well with that on the other end for you.
Okay, well let's set it up at some point.
Yes,
In
do
addition
that.
to that, we have a re-release of Air Force One, the
Yeah.
Wolfgang Peterson Air Force One in 4K.
This is specifically Harrison Ford in the 90s. This is how they sold a Harrison Ford movie in the 90s. All you needed was his face and something else on there. Look at, what was it, Patriot Game? Look at, no, that's Robert
Clear and
Redford.
Present Danger. Patriot
just look-
Games was him.
Just take his movies from the 90s, look at the front cover, and it's Clear and Present Danger. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
This, Fugitive, just all of his movies from the 90s, it's just his face on there.
Well, I mean,
That's-
the same principle can be applied to early 2000s, well, through the end of the 2000s action movies, where it's just man looking off into the middle distance holding a pistol.
Mhm.
I noticed when I was updating the website, I pulled up the poster for Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I think it was the international poster. I noticed they put a handgun in Jason Statham's hand. I'm almost entirely certain that was either photoshopped in or added hurriedly because of marketing, for marketing purposes. Because if you put a pistol in a dude's hand on the cover of a movie, it instantly boosts its monetary value. That many more people will go see it.
Yes, we got Air Force One, and then Christopher Robin, which I didn't see, but I do like Ewan McGregor, and I'm not gonna watch that movie. I don't think.
I don't think so either, although I did hear it was pretty good.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe Steph will want to watch that, and then I'll get her to watch I don't know. I could probably get a good movie out of that one.
Maybe you can convince her to rewatch Hook or something.
No. That she would like that. I have to.
You have to punish her.
No, not punish her, but a movie I don't want to watch by myself, but a movie that she probably wouldn't like that much, or a movie that she wouldn't watch on her own because she's not good at watching good movies unless I'm the one showing her the movie.
She's behind me, isn't she?
She's so busy with grad school. She's like, "What? You want to watch what?" Dead Alive. It was Peter Jackson's. It was one of Peter Jackson's first movies.
You
She's
like Lord of the Rings, right?
What kind of movie is it? It's splatter horror. No, just put on something that's happy. She's stressed out with school as it is. So
There you go.
yeah. It's up to me to find good cinema. What is Sleepwalkers?
Oh, you haven't seen Sleepwalkers?
No, it looks interesting.
It's a fun ass movie. This used to do the rounds on like UPN and like TBS all the time, so I've seen it many times when I was young. It says Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, and he has a cameo in the movie, as do numerous other like horror film directors. But it's not based on a book or anything. I think he just like wrote the screenplay. It's about like cat werewolf people, kind of like werecat people that suck the souls of virgins, and it's a mother and a son, and they have a weird like incestuous like relationship with each other, and the son is like the breadwinner, I guess. So he goes out and he gets like virgin souls and he barfs them into his mom's mouth to keep her young, and then they make out and dance and stuff.
That's fucking weird.
It's fucking weird, but it has a sense of humor about itself, and some of the violence is a lot of fun. It's just a fun ass movie, and that cover art is badass, by the way. I love the color palette, but
Ron Perlman is in there.
By the way, there's a Fuji song that samples the theme music from the movie.
No kidding.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember which song it is, but every time I hear it, like I'm the one guy in the room who's like, I know this fucking melody, and it's from Sleepwalkers, and everyone else is just enjoying the song. So
is just being quiet on the bus.
We have reached the Alice Square, as you put it.
John Carpenter's The Thing, and I thought when I first looked at this, I'm like, it must be some kind of animated movie that they did, but no, it looks just like. So I've seen a few of these in Best Buy. I saw one for the Fifth. Actually, I own the one for The Fifth Element. They have these cool cartoon cover art things that they're doing with these Blu-ray re-releases, and I have one for Fifth Element, and I think it might be fan art, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that, but it looks pretty neat.
So this was a 4K remaster. It's not a 4K disc. It's just a 4K remaster, so it is just a Blu-ray. But I think this was from Shout Factory, and it's a steelbook. So,
yeah, that's the one I have, is a steelbook.
Yeah, so basically you're buying, I think, the same disc that they put out like last year or the year before. Just with fancy cover art and a steelbook. It's handsome looking, but it's funny because when you mentioned like animated, it's animated. Like, it reminds me of like the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon. Like even the font kind of reminds me of it, so it's like the thing.
The Ghostbusters cartoon font. I do think you're right.
Yeah,
it looks cool. I really want it because I actually don't own that movie on Blu-ray, and I actually due to rewatch it here in December because that's when it's supposed to be watched.
That's right. So yeah, maybe consider picking up that steelbook. I mean, the movie deserves it. Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph. Didn't watch it. Never gonna watch it unless Steph wants to watch it, and I'll get my movie out of it. Get a movie out of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. It's a Disney animated film.
I can already tell you what movie I'm going to watch after that. She's going to watch Wreck-It Ralph. I'm going to have her watch Clerks.
I'm guessing it's being put out on 4K right now because Disney's kind of behind when it comes to 4K releases. They only just started putting out like all the Marvel stuff on 4K like within the past 6 months.
Are they still like counting their money from Star Wars? They're just like still like, oh man, that's just no. I've already counted that stack. God damn it, you knocked over the stack. I got.
Well, the thing with Disney is it's still looming on the horizon, but they have their streaming platform coming out soon.
Ugh.
So I think maybe like the economic viability of putting out physical releases, like maybe it was in question or something, but now they've opened the floodgates and everything's coming out. But I know the sequel is coming out soon, so I'm guessing they're getting out in front of that and just trying to get the money while it's hot.
2012?
I know,
I
hard to believe.
realized that.
I thought it was much more recent, but no.
I must have been thinking of Inside Out. Inside Out came out later.
Oh,
Um, um,
Stranger Things season 2.
it has
Wow, that's some great ass cover art, by the way.
it's good cover art, and you also see the design of it because you don't watch. Trevor doesn't have Netflix. He's such a cheapskate that he can't dish out $7.99 a month for.
It's not because I'm cheap. It has nothing to do with the cost. It's the principle of the matter.
Well, I'm not going to use the Disney streaming service on principle. But yeah, so it takes place in the 80s, and this looks like a video store rental.
Well, even the proportions of it look like it's like the dimensions of a VHS box, like how it's
Yeah,
more rectangular than squarish.
I think that's on
Um,
purpose.
oh, I should hope so. But I like that they have two different covers. It's funny. The top one makes me think of Close Encounters. The bottom one makes me think of like The Stand.
There's inspiration, and actually, I was watching Stranger Things, and when we see the big monster at the end of the first season, it looks exact. I forget what it is, but I'm like, okay, you literally borrowed that from. I can't remember what movie it was, but I think I texted you about it at one point. I'm like, yeah, they ripped this straight off of this movie. What, like seriously, and I can't think of what it is right now. But I'll look into that.
Did season 2 shit the bed?
No, season
No.
2 was actually really good.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
they did the thing with Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones didn't air this year. It's not airing until this next year
Hmm.
for whatever reason. I think there was just scheduling conflicts. Everybody's getting really popular in that show, and they're doing other things. So I'm guessing they had to push it. Same thing with or something with Stranger Things. It was supposed to come out this September, but we found out like back in January it wasn't going to come out until next year. So it's not going to come until 2019. No, the second season was actually really, really good.
Okay. I know my brother likes it, but
It's good. It's nice. I didn't know that they were going to release it on Blu-ray or 4K. I didn't know they could do that with Netflix series. I think they're going to have to now.
I think you have to pay a little extra to get 4K on Netflix. I know some of the Marvel shows like Daredevil was put out on 4K. But I
But
do
this
think
is
you have to pay a premium to get access to it.
but these are Blu-ray. Are these not?
No,
Blu-ray?
Stranger Things season 2 4K and Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're physical. These are.
Yeah, Netflix does put out its content on physical media. It just
I did not
they're
know that.
they're they're very slow about it. And I actually have the Marvel series on my shelf, and they're only up to Luke, the first season of Luke Cage. So there have been like a half dozen additional seasons of content that still haven't even made it to shelves yet.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they're way behind, and I think it's on purpose. In
Hmm.
fact, I'm at this point I'm kind of doubting that they're going to even bother with it because I've already seen bootlegs of both the Punisher and Iron Fist. I almost bought the Punisher one the other day.
The first one? Wait, the
No, the series, the
Okay.
Netflix series.
Oh, okay, the series.
But then I read up on it, and it not only is it only a DVD, it's also a bootleg. But I do want to do an episode on the Punisher at some point. Like my brother suggested doing a master class where just cover all of the live action Punishers, and that would include the Netflix.
Well, I think we could actually. That means I have to watch the Punisher series as well.
Hey, you like John Bernthal?
Yeah, but
They promoted it with Metallica. They know who's watching.
for a masterclass, I have to watch a Netflix series. I don't know.
Well, down the road, maybe.
Yeah.
Think about it. But
Okay.
moving on,
Okay.
we have Black Klansman.
Which-
This was a Spike Lee film.
A Spike Lee joint. Have you never seen a Spike Lee joint? It's a Spike Lee joint.
I know. I know. You're not wrong. That is how they phrase it.
Yeah. I actually didn't see this, and I was waiting for it to come out. I figured I would just watch it when it came available on Prime. I've heard good things. I just haven't gotten around to watching it.
No, I heard it was good, and I like a lot of the people in it. I was kind of surprised Topher Grace is in there. I'm guessing he plays a scumbag because he's great
he's good
at that.
Good at being a scumbag.
Yeah, he picked up where James Spader left off, kind of. And
Yeah.
Adam Driver has grown on me in recent years. I kind of like him.
He just you don't want to like him. I didn't want to like him on Girls. My roommates would watch Girls, and he was one of the boyfriends on there. I'm like, God, that guy looks like an ass. There's just something like not likable when you first see him, but then he just grows on you,
Yeah,
and then you really.
I actually did watch like the first 2, maybe 3 seasons of that show, and I think I'd like to finish it. I don't watch many shows, but something about it like resonated with me in a weird way. But he stood out. He made an impression.
Oh yeah, very much. That's why he's in the Star Wars franchise.
Oh yeah, and he just has an interesting way about him, where like you don't see many actors in mainstream films that have his mannerisms and have his look, especially.
I think he's like me. I think he was born in California and raised in Indiana. I think he's from Indiana.
I
At least
wouldn't
with
doubt it. I read up on him a little bit. Apparently, he joined the Marines after 9/11 and got injured or something, and like not in the field, but like sustained an injury of some sort and was discharged.
yeah.
Um, and then somehow became an actor.
Yeah. I don't know how.
I couldn't finish that fucking Patterson movie though.
What's that?
It was like an Amazon indie
Oh,
production. He's a bus driver in Patterson, New Jersey, and it's just him writing poetry and hanging out with his like super adorable girlfriend, and just nothing was happening. And it was one of those movies that like got my analytical radar like freaking out into overdrive, because literally nothing was happening, but I was grasping for meaning in everything that wasn't happening. And I got halfway through and I was like, I think I'm done. But I turned it on because of him.
somebody whose opinion I take very seriously on these like Amazon movies and Netflix originals, like the Amazon originals. Apparently, Shirkers, Shirkers,
Yes.
is a really good movie. I guess it's a Netflix original.
Never heard of it.
Exactly. I I'll mention off the air who it was. I'm like, oh really?
Oh.
It's the that contrarian film critic.
I know exactly who you're talking
That
about.
film. So I'm like, really?
Huh.
Huh? If I mean that's powerful coming from someone like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you let me know how that is.
Oh, I'm not gonna watch it.
So moving on, we got Grindhouse, obviously a re-release. That's some pretty packaging. Not much to say about it other than I think it says 2-disc release on the cover, so I'm guessing this is the version of the movies that pisses people off, because both movies, they were released in one showing, with trailers in between, and the theatrical version was truncated. However, as far as I remember, when they put out both Planet Terror and Death Proof on DVD, like when they first came out, the only versions available of those movies were the extended versions, which are not as good, because
Yeah, you mentioned.
both movies benefited from being condensed, from being snappier, shorter. So it looks like they're dicking you with this one, where it's like these are probably both the extended versions.
No,
Um, oh shit! Law-abiding citizen on 4K.
right. Who the fuck wanted that?
Yeah, who asked for that?
Gerard Butler's like, no, I'll pay for it to come out.
Come
I'll
out.
pay for it to come out on 4K.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, honestly, has he been in a good movie?
I think that's actually the secret genius of his career. Is
He isn't.
he makes ridiculous, stupid movies, but people must be going to see them. It's kind of like it's kind of like Kate Beckinsale and Mila Jovovich and their Underworld and Resident Evil movies.
Are fun. Like I will defend the Resident Evil movies. I haven't seen the Beckinsale movies.
Have you seen London Has Fallen and
Oh,
and
absolutely,
Olympus Has Fallen?
absolutely not.
They're making a third one.
Oh, I know.
Those movies are ridiculous.
Law
They're
Abiding
fun,
Citizen-
but they're
I think-
ridiculous.
I don't know. I think this might be worse than Gamer. Honestly,
I think so.
I think-
I got more out of Gamer.
Gamer was more fun. I like, and what's that guy who plays Dexter? He's just a good villain.
I
I can
can't
think of
remember
his
his
name.
name, but yeah, he
Um,
does he takes advantage of every moment he has in that movie.
yeah.
Michael Ian Black, maybe.
No, Michael Ian Black's he's a comedian.
Oh yeah, he's the guy who was on the E Network all the time doing those "I love the something or other" shows.
Yeah, he's annoying.
Yeah, he is. He's
Yeah,
very
Bob.
insincere.
Nobody needs this. Nobody needs Law Abiding Citizen on 4K. I think we might. I'm interested. I kind of want to try to find Gerard Butler's one good movie.
uh, Good luck with that. I mean, this is like,
Sherlock,
yeah.
the Cumberbitch Sherlock is on here. I don't have anything to say about that. I've
Neither
never
do I.
seen it. I like both of those guys. I'm reading The Hobbit right now, and I'm going to go back and watch those movies once I'm finished.
Ooh.
The Hobbit might be my new favorite book, like of all time. It's just great. If you haven't read it, it's a nice read. Plug in The Hobbit. Big Trouble. This is, I think, Law Abiding Citizen on 4K is just as bad as Big Trouble on a compact disc. um, have you seen Big Trouble?
I have, but I retain no memories of it whatsoever. And the cover is confusing me because all it's doing is making me think of
Get
Get
Shorty.
Shorty. Yeah.
Get Shorty, or that other movie that's just as terrible at this as this and came out about the same time. Be Cool.
Oh yeah.
I think that this is probably better than Be Cool, because Be Cool might be the dumbest movie I've ever seen. Um, this is awful though. I think it's got Dennis Farina and uh, you. You need to stand if you want to address this courtroom, Mr. Sizemore.
Oh, the man that has a suit on standby every day, every weekend.
Brown pressed suit.
Yep, it's just ready to
I
go.
don't have court. Oh, let's go to brunch.
It's like you said, it just never even makes it to the closet. It's just hanging on the door.
Jason Lee just eats Fritos in that movie. Like, I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't have anything to say about Big Trouble. The cover art is pretty self-explanatory. Although
Produces.
I do like some of those people, like Stanley Tucci and Dennis Farina.
Oh, yeah. But
And
that's the
Renee
thing.
Russo. I like her.
But that's the thing. They're completely wasted in that movie. It's that nobody is good in that movie. It's a waste of time. That's the problem.
And,
Um, the producers remake with Nathan Lane. Who's the lady? I didn't even
is that
recognize.
Uma?
It looks kind of like Uma.
Wow, she's really photoshopped though.
Yeah.
That is Uma. I do remember the marketing, and oh dang, everybody's really photoshopped on that cover. Her especially though.
I've seen it. It's not very memorable, and I think there's a little bit of a gay panic in there, which is weird.
That is unfortunate.
It was smack dab in 2005, though, and that's kind of what was happening around that time.
Mm.
Art School Confidential. Oh, from the director of Ghost World, and I know that cover is the girl from I think it's American Beauty, and then young Scarlett Johansson was Ghost World, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm. Yeah, I know this movie by reputation. However, I know very little else about it. It does look like it could be enjoyable. It does have some talented folks in there. I think Malkovich is in there too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah,
Is that Angelica Houston?
I think it might be. Oh,
Yeah, it is.
I'm
And
on board.
Ethan, is it Ethan Suplee?
Yeah.
Huh. I might check that one out. That looks kind of fun. Train to Busan. I asked you about this, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a zombie movie, isn't it?"
Yeah, one of our coworkers mentioned it, expecting me to have seen it. However, I haven't. Again, I know it by reputation. Some of the people in it are like favorites of mine. It's a South Korean movie. It's about a zombie outbreak.
I meant to watch. I actually started. I was getting ready to watch it, getting into the the holiday season, Halloween. but it's like 2.5 hours long. I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm watching a 2.5 hour long zombie movie. Like at
Uh,
the time, it was just, this is not the time.
well, it's
That's
supposed
a
to be
hard.
very good. I mean, Koreans do violence really well, and I'm convinced it has something to do with the culture maybe just being in general more familiar with how violence works in real life,
Mm,
as opposed to like middle class Americans who in general don't encounter violence in their daily life.
mm.
Um, yeah, it's supposed to be very good. Like I said, a lot of actors in it are people that I really like. In fact, there's this fella that in recent years has been going by the name Don Lee. That's
Mhm.
not his Korean name, but that's what they started to call him because he's starting to get like international appeal. He's this
Mhm.
thick ass dude. He's built like a brick shit house, and he has a couple of movies coming out this year that just look right up my alley. Um, One of them's called Unstoppable, and the trailer for it was just like, "Holy shit! This is my stuff."
I don't even want to mention the next movie because it doesn't deserve
Yeah,
to be mentioned.
it's a long-lived franchise at this point. It's yet another box set release. Yeah, there's nothing to be said about. We're not even gonna mention it by name.
We
But
did.
there's five of them. There's about to be six, maybe seven, eight more of them down the road. Papillon. I'm guessing this is a remake because I know that title. I know it's a movie that my parents like Gallipoli. It's just one of those titles that
Yeah,
the sound it sticks in your memory. So
it's
it is in fact a
like
remake. Charlie Hunnam, our
yeah, you're
boy
right.
Charlie Hunnam, and Rami Malek, who's I guess going to be tearing up the cinema with the Freddie Mercury film, The Bohemian Rhapsody.
I've heard. I guess there was a lot of inaccuracies in that movie. From what I've gathered, I'm still gonna watch it, but if that upsets me because if the movie is upsetting and or it's if it's not that factual
Hmm.
and it's just supposed to be entertaining, I'm like, well, why wouldn't I just watch a Queen concert if I was going to be entertained?
Well, the movie has a weird legacy attached to it. Bryan Singer having directed it is a big bruise on its reputation, I guess, because all the allegations being thrown at him. Well, I mean, they're not allegations as far as I know. He has a reputation. However, I do know that the studio allowed him to keep his name on the product, uh, despite the fact that they did in fact bring in another director to finish the film.
Mm.
Because of all the controversy surrounding Bryan Singer, he either stepped off the project or was removed from it. So someone else actually did step in and finish the film for him. But from what I hear, Rami Malek is fantastic in it. I didn't like the Pacific, the HBO series, all that much. However,
Yeah.
he stood out. He was in a Tom Hanks movie called Larry Crown.
Oh,
It was Nia Vardalos, I think, wrote it. The My Big Fat Greek Wedding Lady,
wait. What's it called?
Larry Crown. It's about a middle-aged man who goes back to like community college because
Oh,
he gets laid off. It's one of those dopey like feel-good kind of movies.
Tom
Um,
Hanks, America's
yeah, I mean Tom Hanks
uncle.
is America. Like
Hmm.
once he's gone, this country's done.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Holding us
but
together. Right?
but yeah, Rami Malek plays a complete dipshit in it, and he does it really really well. It's funny. I'll tell you off the air, but Rami Malek, like, there's this one still I've seen of him at like a late night talk show interview. It
Hmm.
just it makes me think of one of our former coworkers. Just something
Mm.
about him. It's like that's the look. like, but
Uh,
funny. We've been saying all this about Bohemian Rhapsody. I have nothing to say about Papillon.
I, I've,
It's coming. It came out a couple of days ago on Blu-ray. Cool.
got Charlie Hunnam. You can probably skip it. Phantasm. What is Phantasm?
Phantasm is like it's a very long-lived like horror franchise that I have no concept of what it is, but it's apparently they had a recent entry in the series like a couple years ago, or maybe even last year.
Wait, what's the Billy Zane one?
Excuse me?
What's the Billy Zane movie where he's
The Phantom?
The Phantom. Okay.
No, Phantasm is supposed to be like a trippy, weird, like horror film, and the like on the cover art you see there. This is most likely a re-release of some sort. It's these like mercury balls that can transform into all these bladed shapes. That's like one of the most iconic images from the series. And then there's a character named the Tall Man, who's this. He looks like one of the characters from a Rocky Horror Picture Show, but like 7 feet tall and always has like a cockeyed look. I know nothing about the Phantasm movies, and I've always kind of been curious. So maybe it's always going to be a someday. I have a feeling.
I haven't seen a.
I remember when Dick came out.
I watched it. I don't remember hardly anything about it. Let's see.
I just remember it was Dan Hedaya as Nixon, and
Yeah.
I remember him being enjoyable. The rest of it, whatever. Justice League on 4K. We got some schlock down here. Revenge of the Dead, from 1983. I'm seeing a lot of Italian names, so you know what you're getting.
I know the girl who's in this one called Mara.
Oh, yeah.
Mara?
What is that? Olga Kurylenko.
She was
Ukrainian that was playing like a Colombian in was it Quantum of Solace?
I think I know her from Hitman.
Yeah, she had a moment because like Max Payne, Hitman, and Quantum of Solace were all like within a year of each other.
Wait, was she in 2 video game adaptation movies?
She was.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Very, I feel like Selma Hayek had this. She's another one of those people that was like she's had this whole career that I have no clue about.
Oh, you mean like Everly from a couple years ago?
I've seen her in Savages. That's the last thing I've seen her in.
Apparently, she's a very strange person in her private life.
I can see that.
She's part of some cult that meets in Olympia.
Really?
My friend is aware of this.
Don't put that on the air.
Oh, there's one here that I need to point out for my own purposes.
Benji?
No, not Benji. Fuck. Not Benji's Very Own Christmas from 1978. Available now. No, Pat Labor. Pat Labor, the Mobile Police Force. I have a kind of a love-hate relationship when it comes to anime. You're aware of this, but Pat Labor is very special to me. I really like it. The movies in particular. This is a collection of the not necessarily the TV series, but we'll call it that. Mm-hmm. It's just about like a future situation in like Japan as it is, but near future situation, where there's essentially like these large mechanical robots that people pilot, and they're used for a variety of purposes, so they're just a part of daily life. And what happens is they have to create a separate police force for crimes that are committed using these robots. So it's like somebody hijacks a giant robot that they use for construction purposes. How do they stop it? They need special cops with robots of their own to combat them. I'm not doing a good job explaining it, but it's special. I've tried to get you to watch some of the movies just because they have an unbelievable feel to them that is just kind of like nothing else out there. I'm kind of excited to maybe watch the series because I never have. I've only watched the movies, but Mamoru Oshii is the guy who I guess he's like the mastermind behind the whole franchise. I need to get you to watch some of his stuff at some point because his tone is unique. So moving on,
bunch of whatevers. Glass House, which I'm not familiar with at all, but it has 1972. The Glass House, not the Lily Sobieski and one of the Skarsgård. I think must have been a remake or a different Glass House movie.
Oh man, that is Alan Alda.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like Everett McGill or something, but no, that's Alan Alda. Holy shit.
Loving Pablo, hating Escobar, which it's got the film festival awards on it, so it's probably good.
Well, like, white people won't shut the fuck up about Pablo Escobar in the past year or two.
We are all on that dude's knob.
Seriously, you guys got to get off him. I'm getting tired of being told about him.
Yeah, I'm.
Have you watched Narcos? Have you watched Narcos?
Oh my god, they act like it's the other Game of Thrones. Seriously, Narcos is the other Game of Thrones.
No joke, man.
Everybody watching Narcos? No, motherfucker.
No, motherfucker. I got a life.
I get one. Netflix gets one series. Amazon's actually better, I think, at the original series, because we're watching The Man in High Castle right now, and it's great. I'm really liking it so far. Let's see here, The Seventh Day, which looks like it's from a long, long time ago, but it says 2004.
Oh shit.
A label. We have a Poldark, which is PBS. This whole line is kind of
some anime. Beyond the Sky makes me think of Skyline, but I'm guessing it's better than Skyline because that's a very low bar. By the way, Skyline had a sequel that I watched only because Iko Uwais from the Raid movies was in it. And also Frank Grillo. I kind of have a soft spot for Frank Grillo, but it was horribly stupid and very, very, very cheap looking. But I own it.
Sound of Music.
Oh, hey, the best Marvel movie is on here.
Ooh, Deadpool 2.
I mean, it's a re-release. It's been out for quite a while. Did you hear that they're re-releasing it to theaters? I think in December.
Why?
They're making a PG-13 cut of it.
Well, why would I go?
It's not for you. It's for your kids. It's for your kids, Marty.
Oh, what are they, assholes or something?
No, it's kind of a clever idea, and they're probably going to make a lot of money off of it because apparently they filmed a few additional scenes, and for all the neckbeards out there, that's enough of a reason to buy a ticket.
Yeah. Weird. Let's see here. I don't recognize 101 Dalmatians. 1961. I didn't realize it was that old.
Oh yeah, that was in Disney's grungy period.
Oh yeah, where they were kind of dark.
Yeah, like The Rescuers, I think was maybe around the same time. I like the Rescuers Down Under is actually one of my favorite Disney movies. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I haven't seen it.
But I watched it quite a few times when I was young, and I still love that movie. So on the 13th, we have a Criterion release of Some Like It Hot.
I've been meaning to watch that.
As have I. I'd like to catch up on some classic cinema whenever I can, and a Criterion re-release of a Marilyn Monroe movie. Fuck yeah, sign me up.
I consider it a Jack Lemmon movie, but you're probably right. It's probably a Marilyn Monroe movie.
First Blood, the entire Rambo series, except curiously enough, I don't think I see Rambo 4 on here on 4K.
Which one's that one?
It's just called Rambo.
Oh, is that the one where he's
that's in Myanmar? Burma.
Oh,
on that 50 cal.
I remember the day I watched it. I was at my buddy's house. His dad made ribs, and they're like, "Let's watch the whole family together." He's like, "Want to stay for dinner?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it." And
that is a ribs movie. Like,
yeah,
you got to have like juice and shit on your fingers when you're watching that movie.
It's brutal.
Oh yeah, the gore in that, while mostly CGI, is that's a spicy meatball. Pixar short films, that's probably good.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Star Trek Discovery, that's the Star Trek series that's on the CBS proprietary streaming service that nobody has.
Something like that.
So it's the Star Trek series that no one's watching. Good luck with that. The Jerk. This is actually one of my closer friends. This is one of his favorite movies. It doesn't resonate too much with me, but it's a special movie to a lot of people out there. I'd like to rewatch it actually because I really like Steve Martin when he comes to play, which is not all the time.
He doesn't do anything for me. I've seen his hits. I'm like, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. John Candy. Um,
No, I'll give you that. No, John Candy is the heart and soul of that film. Have you seen Little Shop of Horrors?
mm-mm.
Okay, put if you ever see that movie, imagine yourself being like 8 years old and seeing him in it, and you'll
Mhm.
understand why I latched onto him.
Gotcha.
And then Bowfinger. Bowfinger, it holds a special place in my heart.
I remember liking Bowfinger. I haven't watched it in so
It's one of
long.
those movies about making movies that just works for me. So we have Single White Female. Have you seen that?
No, I do
Uh,
like the girl.
it's a good time. Like it's good trashy shit, but
Uh,
it's like of the good variety.
I had a big crush on Bridget Fonda in the movie Singles, that Seattle movie.
Oh yeah, no. It's funny in college. Well, maybe even after we did this thing, me and my friends, where we put together like a list of celebrity crushes,
Hmm.
and I was very surprised to have her in like my top three. And it's
Yeah,
just something about her nose and her lips that's just like it just works, man.
it looks like she could have been an elf in
Yeah,
The Rings almost.
yeah. No,
Uh,
Bridget Fonda works for me, and It's funny seeing Steven Weber in there. I think he gets killed with a high heel.
Wait, Stephen Weber.
I think he was on like that show Wings or something. But Steven Weber played the Jack Torrance character in The Shining, but on the TV version.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's just a guy with long hair in the '90s.
I just
A dime a dozen.
I rewatched The Shining for a Halloween season.
Always gets it.
Oh, it's great.
That old lady, man. That's like the reason why I have trouble rewatching that movie.
Yeah,
That's
that is
like I conveniently need to go pee kind of scene.
yeah. The Satanic Rites of Dracula, is that
That's
Christopher Lee?
Christopher D. Yes, Van Helsing.
I've never seen that one.
Gandalf. That is another Hammer horror film. So it looks like they're very slowly maybe getting the rights back to them or something. Because I think last time we did one of these catching ups, we found one of those. Beside that, we have The Meg.
I wanted to watch that in the theater because I thought it'd be a fun experience. I thought it'd just be like a fun movie to go see, but I never got around to it.
Heavily Chinese financed giant shark movie with Jason Statham fighting a giant shark, a megalodon. Fun fact: it is based on a novel that I have read.
I wouldn't have told people that.
It's out there now. Shit, there goes all my credibility.
What is this next one? It looks like a Criterion release of A Story from Shikamatsu.
Yeah, it is a Criterion.
The cover, I like the cover of it. It looks very boring. From what I can tell from the cover, it looks like it might be a good movie.
I can't remember if I've seen it or not. The title sounds familiar, but I may have watched it for class at some point, but I can't recall. But if it's on the Criterion Collection for a reason.
It kind of looks like a Japanese love story from like 1954.
Also, 1954 was a very big year for Japanese cinema, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was excellent. I mean, that was Godzilla and Seven Samurai.
We have Dances with Wolves. I wasn't a big fan of. It was one of those movies that everyone tells me, "Oh, you got to watch Dances with Wolves. You haven't seen Dances with Wolves? You got to watch Dances with Wolves." And then I watched it. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of whatever. That's kind of how I feel about most Kevin Costner movies. It's like, yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that's like you need to allow yourself to get swept up in it, and I really couldn't. Like, I just didn't get much from it. Also, it didn't help that he repeated himself when he did The Postman.
Yeah,
Right down to the horse riding thing at the end. It's like, okay, it's like, we get it, Kevin Costner. Everybody likes you. You're way better at being a native than the natives.
What is this Blood Island collection? 1959 to 1971. It looks like some kind of TV show, if I'm not mistaken.
Includes the following titles: Mad Doctor of Blood, Brides of Blood, Terror is a Man, and Beast of Blood. I have no idea what these are, but H.G. Wells is listed as one of the writers.
Interesting.
So I'm guessing it's just schlocky, B movie stuff.
That might be
Perversion Story, a Lucio Fulci film. Lucio Fulci being the Italian gore meister.
It was he the one that did Cannibal Holocaust?
It may have been him. I think he was the one who did the zombie films, like Zombie 2. But yeah, he was known for having extreme gore, and I think if he's the right guy, if he's the right Italian guy, he's the one that likes doing really slow violence, like the eyeball puncture in I think Zombie 2 is infamous.
I'm wrong. It's Ruggero Deodato.
Okay.
He is Italian. I know Cannibal Holocaust was directed by an Italian fellow. I just couldn't think of his name. He actually had a cameo in, I think it's the second Hostel movie, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So
just the bitch.
Mile 22 is a film that I know you won't watch, but I will, and I may even pony up the cash to buy it. So this is a Peter Berg film. Are you familiar? Peter Berg makes Mark Wahlberg vehicles. He's intensely patriotic, and he has this. I feel he has this deep reverence for the American military that goes deep to the point that I feel like he almost has one of those guilty conscience things going on.
Enjoying, or
yeah, it's he didn't sign up, he didn't do his part, so now he feels like he needs to pay it back in some fashion. So he makes these ultra patriotic films like Lone Survivor and Patriots Day and Deepwater Horizon, American hero stories. Anyway, this Mile 22 movie is basically a Call of Duty movie as far as I know. So it's ultra special Black Ops team. The one interesting thing about it, though, is that Iko Uwais, again, the lead from the Raid films, is in there. And I'm always curious to see what he does, especially in movies with, American money financing them. So it's basically just a garbage, paramilitary action film, but with that on the side. And I'm curious enough that I'd like to see that. Plus, I happen to kind of enjoy Lone Survivor, although the gore porn is a little much. It gets
you see, yeah,
it gets a little too into the nitty gritty to the point where it feels okay, this is starting to veer into Passion of the Christ territory, but with soldiers.
we can't get started on that because starting talking about military movies that get in too far to the gore, basically, in a movie like that, which is trying to tell the story of these guys that were actually stuck by
something that actually happened to people who have families, and I get it. This one, however, looks like complete garbage and has John Malkovich with bad hair plugs, not even attempting to act. So I'll probably end up watching it.
And which one?
Mile 22.
Oh, honestly thought it was the Boston Bomber thing.
Oh no, that's Patriots Day.
Yeah. The Ice Harvest I've heard of.
Is that John Cusack?
Yeah.
That is John Cusack.
2005.
And Billy Bob. He did more than one movie with Billy Bob? Pushing 10.
Yeah, Pushing 10.
Yeah, I like Pushing 10.
I didn't see it. I saw previews for it a lot.
It's fun. I liked it. It's a clever concept. Alpha, is that a movie that your lady is going to make you watch?
No, I'm not watching that one.
But it's about man forming its first bond with dog.
Great question. No. No, we can't really watch dog movies because the dogs bark at dogs. So.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
The Adventures of Prince Ahmad, 1926. That's too old for me. I've taken a film class where I've had to watch old films, and that's the only time I'm going to do it. 1926 is a little too far back for me.
Yeah.
Bright Lights, Big City. Is that
that's Michael J. Fox? MVD is a distributor or a publisher rather that they specialize in a certain off-brand of schlock. So I'm guessing this movie's probably not good in the traditional sense, but I do like Michael J. Fox,
Oh yeah, who does?
especially in the '80s.
Wind Talkers, which has one of the most graphic scenes I've ever seen in a movie. You and I have talked about it a couple of times.
Is that the legs?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
legs.
the legs.
Yeah, I think didn't your dad didn't that?
Oh, yeah, he promptly left the room.
Yeah,
For reasons unexplained.
I remember it being a pretty good movie, but
so that is a catching up that I have been insisting for the past few weeks now. This is a John Woo film.
I've seen it.
I know, but I need you to see The Killer at some point.
Oh yeah,
I need you to see John Woo before he came to the U.S.
Well, when it's available for me to rent,
we'll find a way, because I really would like to talk about it at some point.
Tarzan's Greatest Adventure. I
like the cover. That guy looks like he's about to take a nasty spill.
What is this Preacher season 3? Is that Michael Shannon?
No, that's what's his face? It's not. It's Dominic Cooper. He plays. Well, I know you don't care about the Marvel stuff, but he plays Tony Stark's dad.
Oh.
Preacher is based on a comic by Garth Ennis. I believe Seth Rogen was involved in writing the show for television. Preacher is a lewd and crude comic. I've read and own the entirety of it. I've never actually watched the show, but I seriously doubt most of the stuff that's in the comic could have made it to FX, like cable television, as opposed to like HBO or something.
I don't know. It's Always Sunny to get away with quite a bit. So FX is the channel that people aren't paying attention to. They don't know is actually like really, really pushing the envelope.
Yeah, fair point. I mean, I remember back in the day they were like showing things like Starship Troopers pretty much unedited except for the nudity, and that movie's pretty gory.
They say shit on there, and they also show ass. And they show butt. Because I was watching The League, and they show one of the guy's wives' butt on. I'm like, they just did it on FX.
Whoa,
so
they showed wife butt.
Are they? They're FX is doing their own thing. No, everyone forgot if they're like people like focused on streaming and stuff like that. FX is like, we can just show whatever we want on here. Nobody's paying attention.
Well, I have no idea how well the show is doing, but the comic for like a couple of decades was held in like the highest esteem possible. It's kind of like almost on the level of like The Watchmen.
Gotcha.
Moving on down.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 1981. This is this a movie from 1981?
It looks like maybe a TV movie. Oh no, three disc sets are probably TV series.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah,
maybe
BBC.
I watched the movie when I was super duper stoned, when I was like 17 or 18, and I just didn't understand it or like it. And then I rewatched it like a year ago, and I'm like, I don't get this movie. Like, it's not funny. There's nothing to. I mean, Alan Rickman was kind of funny as the robot voice, but like, I just didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Yeah. Fun fact: my mom rented it, and I think we didn't even get 20 minutes in. She turned it off and she said, like, she just handed it to me and she's like, take this back. Like, the whole family just got nothing from it. I was just going to say another DC animated film, Justice League Throne of Atlantis, commemorative edition. So that might be a re-release because Aquaman's on the horizon. Yeah, what is this Gingerbread Man?
I don't know.
Kenneth Branagh, I like it. Robert Downey Jr., really like it. Daryl Hannah, okay. Tom Berenger. Now I'm really curious.
Yeah, and then who is on the far right over there?
The lady?
Yeah.
I can't make her out. Oh, that's Daryl Hannah.
Oh, it's Daryl Hannah.
Doing her best Jennifer Garner with glasses impression.
I thought she looked like, not Bryce Dallas Howard, Jessica Chastain. Because I'm looking at a a much smaller version. I'm like, Jessica Chastain wasn't popular in
Yeah,
1998.
let me actually just read the description of this. Oh, directed by Robert Altman, so it's going to be talky. Lawyer Rick Magruder has a one-night stand affair with caterer Mallory Doss. He becomes hooked on her, and when he learns her nutcase father Dixon is threatening her, he puts the weight of his law firm behind Mallory, has Dixon arrested, and subpoenas her ex-husband Pete to testify against Dixon in court. Dixon is sent to an asylum but escapes from there, and the lives of many people are in danger. This movie sounds batshit crazy.
Sounds like the Butterfly Effect meets the Rainmaker. That's too much. It's too much going on in there.
Interesting cast, though.
Yeah. The rest of these, I think we're kind of.
Oh,
go ahead.
I see. Well, Basic Instinct 2, I completely forgot that happened.
I completely forgot that was a thing.
Wow. Damn. Oh, fucking. The final score. So this movie.
The what?
The final score. This movie is the one that I've brought up on at least 2 episodes now. This is Dave Bautista doing his Die Hard impression in a soccer stadium. And
is that Pierce Brosnan?
Yes, that is. And Ray Stevenson, the Punisher from Punisher Warzone.
What did they do to you?
I want to see this. In fact, I might buy this. Yeah, I've been talking it up for a while now. Until just now, I couldn't remember the fucking title. It's called Final Score, and it's basically Die Hard in a soccer stadium. And I want to see fucking Batista punch the Punisher. I want to see Drax punch the Punisher, god damn it. And then I want to see him punch James Bond while he's at it. Oh wait, he already did that.
Yeah. Poor.
The Marine 6. Oh no.
God.
Oh no, Shawn Michaels is in it. No, Sean! Put that rifle down, Sean. He's turning into Ted Nugent.
If you thought that the second one was unwatchable, I can't imagine this one's watchable.
I think that's Martin Ford on the cover also. He's that like 6'9" British bodybuilder guy with all the tattoos.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch, she's a lady wrestler who's currently active. Man, they're up to 6 of those fucking movies. Shit. The Wizard of Gore from 1970. That's an Arrow release. They're the ones that did The World of Kaneko.
Oh.
They distributed it. Yeah, they didn't have anything to do with the making of it. But The Wizard of Gore, if I remember right, is the movie that they were watching in Juno. If you've ever seen it.
No.
Oh, well, there's a subplot in Juno where the teenage girl, is hanging out with Jason Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like bonding over watching Italian gore films, and the movie that they're watching, I think, was The Wizard of Gore. Yeah, just a fun little thing that popped out at me.
I didn't see anything else for this release. Ooh, okay, so there is actually something. We have some The Expanse. And I haven't seen the TV show, but it does have Tom Jane in it in the first season of it. This is a book series that's written by James something Corey.
Oh, you have the book?
Yeah, I'm reading the series. I've read the first 2 books. They're pretty big, thick sons of bitches. Like, they're pretty big books, but they are really, really good. My brother told me to read it. He's like, "Hey, you should read this book." So I just bought it. I'm like, okay, good enough for me. I love the books. I want to finish reading. I'm going to try to get through the whole series and then try to watch the TV show. But don't watch the series. Don't watch the series yet. Read the book if you can. But it's the Expanse series. The first book is Leviathan Wakes. I just saw that. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a good book. I really like it.
Oh, it's supposed to be a pretty good show, too.
I mean, it's on the Sci-Fi Network, and I forgot that the Sci-Fi Network was a thing, honestly. They've actually, like, I was at my dad's, and I was looking at his satellite, and, like, he had the Sci-Fi Channel. They've kicked it up. The Sci-Fi Channel that you and I grew up with, 90s, 2000s, is not the same Sci-Fi Channel now.
Oh, yeah, I think they've gotten to that point now where... not that long ago, they were capitalizing on like the schlock trend, like making intentionally bad movies because they realized that, oh hey, there's a bunch of stoners that are watching our network solely because we have shitty programming.
Yeah.
But I think they got over that hump now, and they're actually trying to make good stuff, and it seems to be working out for them. In addition to that, we have a bunch of anime, none of which jumps out at me as anything I can remark on. But again, always very pretty packaging. Always jumps out. Always grabs your eyes. And then there's a whole bunch of shit towards the bottom here that has some of the ugliest cover art I've ever seen.
Yeah, we don't kick it up again until about November 2000 or November 20th. That is when we get back into gear, because a lot of this is just.
Yeah, let's skip all that garbage, because like I'm not even kidding, man. Some of these covers look made up. Like this looks like I don't know, dime store, like Celtic sex novel kind of cover art or something. So let's jump ahead to November 18th, and we have a 4K re-release of the Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch. Most likely because we have a new Grinch movie coming out, an animated one. Big release for you. 2001: A Space Odyssey on 4K comes out on November 20th.
I don't know if I can get it to look even prettier. Like, I don't know, like...
Well, I've read some really interesting things about this disc. And again, this is a really big deal. So I guess Christopher Nolan supervised the transfer of the disc or something? And the aspect ratio is apparently different.
You're recording this, right?
I am.
Mine stopped at an hour. 59:59.
Okay, well it's well, I'm recording the whole thing, so I guess hit the record button again and let's hope for the best.
Okay. Give me a sec. Alright, and it's going.
Okay. So what was I saying? So yeah, as far as I understand, there's something to do with the aspect ratio, because the film, I guess, was originally released on a larger format than is traditional, like the traditional 35 millimeter. So the presentation in your home is probably it's supposed to look different. It's supposed to look closer to the original theatrical release, which if you weren't alive at the time or didn't have the chance to see it in the theater, you will have no concept of what that looked like. So if you were to watch this version of it at some point, you might have a negative reaction to parts of it because it will look a little different. Things like the color grading and just the framing might be slightly different. So it's a little controversial in that sense, but everything else I've read about the quality of the disc is excellent.
All right. Well, we've got the 4K, or not 4K, I'm sorry, the Blu-ray release of Candyman. Is this the first Blu-ray release of Candyman?
I don't think so, but then again, it is the Candyman. It's like one of those forgotten horror films. It's a Clive Barker story. Candyman is a legit horror film. Like it is actually scary at times, which is kind of rare. One of the things that really stood out to me, besides Tony Todd being fucking awesome, was the fact that the scariest parts of the movie are actually just the scenes that happen in reality. Just the neighborhood that the story is set in, like that tenement building, is probably the most intimidating and scary element of the story, rather than the supernatural man with a hook.
Yeah, there's a lot more. I think probably for a horror movie, it's one of the few that's explicitly stating something. Like it's very easy to pick up on the social commentary in the film. I had to write a little paper on it.
For
for
really?
My horror. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like some horror movies are trying to say something, and this is a movie that's explicitly trying to get a point across.
Yeah, Clive Barker is one of those authors that's like, I think I need to start reading him, because there's something interesting about him, like his perspective in particular. Like I remember learning that he was a gay gentleman maybe a few years ago, and when I took that into consideration and like thought about some of the stories and the content of his stories, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. and his perspective makes sense to me now, and I understand why some of the themes that are in his stories maybe are more meaningful to him than to your, average writer, I guess.
Tony Todd would just be like, I would be terrified of him because he's a scary guy. Like he towers over you, and he also has his very scary eyes, and he has that terrifying voice.
Yeah, he has those sunken eyes, and his voice. He's just seems like a really good actor. He's always welcome in pretty much any movie you find him in. Speaking of which, I think, was he in Urban Legends, or am I thinking of something else? That may have been Wishmaster.
He was in The Rock. He might have been in Wishmaster. I actually just
I think he was in Wishmaster.
I want to say Wishmaster.
I think he was. I think he was like one of the people they consult about what the djinn does. But yeah, in The Rock, it was kind of cool seeing him be like one of the quote unquote final bosses of that story. It's like all of a sudden he's like the secret bad guy. That's like, it's fucking Tony Todd. Of course he's one of the bad guys.
Robert Englund is also in Wishmaster.
Oh yeah, he's the professor. Yeah, I have a soft spot for that movie. Speaking of like 90s horror, we have Urban Legend and Urban Legend Final Cut.
Never seen it.
I remember the promotion for both of them. I like how Urban Legend's Final Cut has the what I call the Scream cover.
Yeah, that's the Scream cover, big time.
That fucking Scream cover, man, it was everywhere.
One of the worst movies ever.
True Stories is a movie that I'd like to see, and holy shit, it's getting a Criterion release. So True Stories is the product of, is it David Byrne? It's the frontman for the Talking Heads.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not familiar.
And it's just this strange little film that I don't know, a combination of that element and John Goodman. I'm on board,
That's John Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman is. I mean, it's like kind of a series of vignettes from how I understand it, but I guess he's one of the leads in it. But yeah, just that combination of that weirdness plus John Goodman, sure, sign me up.
Yeah,
I love the Talking Heads; they're great.
Django.
Yeah, the Django films. So it looks like Arrow again. They specialize in like trashy like schlock cinema. They're putting out the old Italian Django films. The Last Seduction, is that
Linda Florentino? Is that how you say
Linda
that?
Fiorentino?
Yeah, she's from Men in Black and Dogma.
Oh yeah, she's she was very welcome at that point in time. She was in Dogma.
Yeah, I think I know her more from Men in Black, but yeah, Dogma. She's the main person in Dogma.
It's funny. I thought that was Gina Gershon from the framing of the cover art. That nose is kind of unmistakable, but I guess I did mistake it.
That's what I thought. I thought it was Gina Gershon. Crazy Rich Asians.
I saw that in the theater. It was.
Dude, what the fuck is wrong?
It was for a fucking date.
No,
I
didn't
pick the movie.
My girlfriend wanted to. She's like, I want to watch it. I'm like, why? Why would you want to watch it?
It's actually pretty good. Like
really?
It's well made, man. I was fully prepared to hate it, but it's actually pretty good.
The Glenn Miller story starring James Stewart. Yeah, you can. That's a big old pass. Good lord. Holy Motors, which sounds not great, but I don't know about that. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey getting the tin box.
Yeah, it's getting a steelbook release. I don't care much for that cover art, but
no, I don't either. They
steelbook, sure, why not?
Yeah, Free Jack, never seen it. Probably won't watch it. Streets of Fire.
I need to see this movie. It's the same director as The Warriors, and it's like a musical, and like and like a gang violence movie all wrapped up into one. So it's kind of like West Side Story, I guess,
Sounds like West Side Story.
but in the 80s, and Willem Dafoe is like a greaser punk.
Oh, okay.
And it's just this strange ass movie that in recent years has developed like a really strong following, and I owe it to myself to see it.
There's not much else that I recognize going down.
Cabaret, 1972 version.
I want to watch Cabaret. I don't know why. I don't know what I know. It's Eliza Minnelli. Her on doing theater or something like that. I'm not real sure.
Well, as far as I know, it's like ranked as like one of the top 100 American films.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it. There's something that's pulling to me. Like I'm just not sure. But I need to watch it. Am I awaken something? I don't know. I just want to dance. The Seventh Seal, which I'm sure is a fantastic movie. I've wanted to watch it, but I just haven't gotten around to it. It's one of those movies, like, I know I need to watch it, I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's a Criterion release, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So, a couple more. Ooh.
What you got?
You ready for the double feature?
What you got?
Batman Mask of the Phantasm and Batman versus Sub-Zero. The animated.
It's a double feature of a couple of feature-length Batman animated films from the 90s. The reason why they're putting these out is because the entire Batman animated series recently came out on Blu-ray, I think, a couple weeks ago.
I started to watch it, and I love the animation. I still like it.
You could own the entire thing for $100.
I know I'm going to ask for it for Christmas.
Well, I mean, if you ask me, $100 is not that much for the entire fucking series.
On Blu-ray.
And I think it includes the movies.
Ooh.
The animated movies. So Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero would be in there. I don't know if Batwoman is in there, though. Mystery of the Batwoman. But also there's a couple of supplements that may be exclusive to that box set. It's director and writer commentary, which I'd be very curious to hear, because Bruce Timm in particular, he was the guy who like masterminded that whole series. I'm sure there's a lot of stories about the making of that show. So yeah, definitely consider asking for that for Christmas.
Well, my Nana won't take no for an answer. Like, Nana, I don't need anything. She said, okay, what do you want for Christmas? So I just like threw it out there. I want the Aliens, all the Aliens movies on Blu-ray, the Blu-ray collection. She got me the Blu-ray.
Nana came through.
I'm like, all right. Let's see.
So
it's $100.
It's only $100 for the entirety of it. Again, I don't know if Mystery of the Batwoman is on there though.
Nah, I mean, I just want the series.
I mean, that's the worst. That's maybe the lowest note in the entirety of that series. So
I don't like the Sub-Zero one. It's
not great.
I like the Mask of the Phantasm. I think it's really good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Let's see.
So the rest of that day's entries, so November 20th, is basically just anime. Yeah, let's skip on down to November 27th. And yeah, there's a couple winners in here. So the first one we have here for that date is the Critters collection.
I haven't seen a second of any of those movies.
I haven't either, but I've always been curious about them because, I mean, it came out. It's impossible to ignore the fact that it came out very conveniently shortly after the Gremlins film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and even if I look one row lower, I see Munchies and Munchies 2. No, Munchie and Munchies, and I see the date 1987, and I can't help but think, maybe little creatures were kind of a thing in the mid-'80s. Yeah.
I don't want to get ahead of us, but I want to get to these zombie movies here.
Okay.
I'm really excited. Gosford Park, I just looked at the cast and what that's supposed to be all about. It's a dinner party. It's a hard pass. Philadelphia, which I've never seen, which is also...
Philadelphia is excellent.
I know it's one of those movies. It's kind of like 12 Years a Slave. I know I need to watch it. I just haven't watched it. Just lay off me, people.
If I remember right, it was maybe this. It was Jonathan Demme who directed it. I point out to you that I had a feeling that the cinematographer was the same as Silence of the Lambs, and then I remember we looked it up, and it's like, yeah, it was, and it's just a very handsome, very well executed film, like top to bottom. It's great stuff.
I was rewatching Silence of the Lambs a few weeks ago. I didn't realize how many close-up shots are in that movie, like just on people's faces. Like it's all.
You'll notice that in Philadelphia also.
And really?
They use it very effectively. They do a good job of painting a picture of characters' intent, just based on their facial reactions and the way they look at each other. It's like when you can see Jodie Foster like being looked at by male characters, they give her a certain kind of look that communicates quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you get that in Philadelphia too, where there's people giving like accusatory glances and stuff, that it's framed in such a way that's like it's communicated very effectively.
Well, I have seen the one scene where he's like, "Sir, would you be more comfortable in another room?" And he's like, "No."
Oh yeah, in the library. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? How do you say this guy? Lucio
Fulci. I mentioned him earlier.
Yeah.
In fact, I mentioned this movie and this fucking scene in particular with the eye.
It looks cool. I really might need to write this one down because this looks like a fun one.
When I was in high school, I got really into his movies, mostly because of his reputation for doing this type of violence. This movie has like the most impossible title, because I think internationally it was called like Zombie 2. No, domestically, like in Italy, it was called like Zombie 2. And then it's just called Zombie sometimes, and it has like 3 other titles, so it's like you need to make sure that you're watching the right zombie. And so if this scene where this lady gets some business happen to her eyeball happens, then you know you're watching the right one.
But it is zombies.
Usually it's spelled Zombi without the E.
It's splatter.
Yeah, right up your alley. And it's from 1979, so it's mean.
Nice.
Those 70s movies, man, they're mean.
So it's actually, it's called Zombie 2, The Dead Are Among Us.
Yeah, Zombie 2 is the title I'm most used to seeing.
I gotta highlight it before I forget it. Okay, what else we got going?
Searching. So this movie, it's was it John Cho from Harold and Kumar? Mm-hmm. It's a movie that it's one of those told from perspective stories. So it's, I guess, the entirety of the film is told through a web browser.
Okay.
This is very rapidly becoming a trend. Like a lot of filmmakers are starting to adopt this. However, this movie's supposed to be really fucking good. Yeah, I've read some really glowing reviews for it. And I like John Cho. It makes me happy every time I see him.
Sharp Objects is a TV series that I've been told by a friend of mine that I need to really watch. After I get done with The Man in High Castle, I might pick it up. Because apparently it is really good.
Huh. I've never heard of it, but is that Amy Adams?
That is Amy Adams. That should tell you something.
Sign me up.
Exactly. Deep Throat.
Is that the Deep Throat? It looks like it.
Throat. That is the Deep Throat. I want to watch it just because of its history, not for the juicy bits.
Deep Throat, now available in the Disney Vault, but only for a limited time. Better grab it fast.
Could you imagine if you switched that out with another cassette or something like that?
It's like Bambi, Pinocchio, Cinderella, Deep Throat.
It was pass out when she finds out her kids watch Deep Throat. Almost Human. What is that? That looks kind of like The Shining.
It makes me think of Rosemary's Baby. That low angle shot of like the devil. Mm-hmm. It's a very iconic still. I used to freak myself out going to like internet forums and people would have that as like their signature image. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, fuck, man, that's the fucking devil. You'll be like scrolling down, all of a sudden, devil.
Son of a bitch.
It's like one of those videos where they tell you, like, put your face really close to the screen, and it's just like babies playing, and then all of a sudden, fuck you. What else we got?
Zombie. I think the only thing that's popping out to me is the Atomic Blonde on 4K.
That's a good cover.
Yeah, it is. I liked that movie. You undersold it. Like I enjoyed it.
I know. Aesthetically, it's a lot of fun.
Not even aesthetically. I just liked it. It was a fun.
I felt that it dragged a few too many times. It has some really standout moments, and James McAvoy is a fucking treasure.
He is.
Like, he's wonderful in any role.
I wish he was ours, but he's not.
Yeah, we can't claim ownership of him.
So this movie here, I think the only one that's left that I'm curious about is what keeps you alive. I clicked on it. So majestic mountains, a still lake, and venomous betrayals engulf a female married couple attempting to celebrate their 1-year anniversary. So it sounds like a bit of a horror, maybe a horror thriller movie, something like that. What is this? Shout Factory. It doesn't say what kind of movie it is. It sounds like it's a thriller. I like the cover.
IFC puts out a wide variety of content, but sometimes they put out like really dark, violent dramas. It kind of has that look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to dig that millennial pink on it too. I see something that needs comment.
What's that?
Steven Seagal 4-film collection.
I didn't see that. Hang on, now I'm reloading.
But it doesn't specify what movies are in it. How dare you?
How dare you?
And
Wesley,
trying to figure out. Oh man, he is so badly photoshopped. Because it's like his head from like 10 years ago, but slimmed down and just some guy's body.
He was in an interview, and this guy asked him, he's like, "So you think you can beat everybody?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, someone asked him, was like, "Everybody on that film that you work with?" He's like, "Yeah, I taught everybody what they needed to know on that film. I taught them all. I did all the fight choreography and stuff like that." And he goes, "How about Michael Jai White?" and Steven Seagal is like, "Don't make me laugh. Like, I could totally take Michael Jai White." I'm like, dude, you couldn't take Michael Jai White in your prime.
Dang. Oh, did you happen to catch when Anderson Silva knocked someone out with like a head kick, and Steven Seagal took ownership of it? He said, "Yeah, I taught him that kick." But what was really funny was Anderson Silva like actually played into it. He was like, "Oh yeah, you totally did." It's like, what the are you serious? He's like, "Yeah, we were practicing that kick like day in, day out in training." It's like, Steven Seagal, you have never thrown a kick in your entire life.
You don't know how to kick, buddy.
It's like, your fighting style consists of finding pointed objects to throw people into or misdirect them into.
One of the characters, Aikido, is that what he does?
Yeah, Aikido.
One of the characters on The Man in High Castle does Aikido. Because they were talking about it, and it's just like, it's all about disarming and stopping the other person. I'm like, wait, that's Steven Seagal's thing.
Wait, I know this. Well, I mean the principles of the martial, and one of the things that's interesting about it is like one of the original Japanese martial arts. Like, it's not like karate where it's actually from Okinawa. And I can see why writers would be attracted to it, because the principles of it on paper make for good like irony or symmetry in your writing. It's like it plays into like the characteristics of that person. Where it's like, oh, he's playing the long game. He's allowing the other people to sort their shit out while he stands on the sides. I could totally see some writer reading about that and be like, oh man, this is a really cool concept. I should apply this to my storytelling.
What Keeps You Alive has decent reviews, 80% Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it's got it's okay. The ratings are okay. Better than The Counselor, so that should tell you something. Um, so yeah, I had to write down that zombie movie. I think I'm actually looking forward to watching that, and I actually was able to think of a movie that you need to catch up on because of that Mark Wahlberg one. You need to watch Rockstar
Oh, okay. Well,
because I like that movie.
yeah, I mean, looking ahead at the release calendar, I can pick out a couple movies that I think I'm going to spend the money on. Like, Final Score, I want to see Batista punch the Punisher. I want to
Def,
see it.
def,
Mile 22, I might just Redbox. Then I think that's it as far as like things that
gonna
I'll throw money at.
ask
Don't
for
don't forget The Thing.